This is every gobblegum ranked from worst to best. Coming in at joint last is going to be all the funny gobblegums we have. So these are eye candy, Newtonian, negation, projectile vomiting, and tone death. These are just gobblegums that you bring into the game to have a laugh, and that's about it. They're not really useful because they don't actually have any proper effects on zombies, but more just comedic ones. So that's why these ones all come in joint last. Coming into our next spot on the list, it is going to be Respin Cycle. This gobblegum allows you to get a new weapon from the box if the box gives you a weapon that you don't really like. And that's really it. Coming into the 58th spot on the list, it's going to be Unbearable. Now what this gobblegum does is it stops the mystery box from going to get some milk and never coming back. It essentially just stops the teddy bear from really taking effect and makes it so you can get a few more spins out of the box. And that's it. Coming into our number 57th spot on the list is going to be Impatient. If you have bled out and you're waiting to spawn back in till the next round, it'll allow you to spawn in a little bit earlier on the current round. But the reason I've definitely put in this one here is because if you have it on, then you're keeping in mind that I'm going to go down, when that just shouldn't be the case. So yeah, that's why it's at the number 57th spot. Coming up next on our list at the number 56th spot is Arms Grace. This gobblegum is going to allow you to take your weapons from a previous round that you've died on into the next round when you spawn back in. Needless to say, there's millions of other gobblegums that will do the exact same thing but better. So that's why Arms Grace is at the number 56 spot. Coming into our number 55th spot, it is going to be Coagulant. On co-op, this gobblegum gives you a longer bleed out time. This is useful in the right situation, but what situation are you going to be in where you're going to need to use this? Any sort of revive gum or anything that kind of takes you back from being down compared to self-medication or, for example, near-death experience is absolutely useless since those gobblegums exist. That's why it comes in at the number 55 spot. Coming into our 54 spot, it's Secret Shopper. This will allow you to take a weapon, whatever weapon in your hand, except the wonder weapon of course, because God forbid making the gobblegum actually good, and allows you to go to any wall weapon and buy ammo for your current weapon even if the weapon on the wall isn't matching the weapon that you have. The reason I have this here is because there's a thing called a cashback, and that gives you ammo for all your guns, all your equipment, and all players on the field at once. So yeah, Secret Shopper is pretty pointless. If it made it so that wonder weapons could buy ammo off the wall, then yes, it'd be cool, but obviously that's not what it does, so what's the point? Coming into our number 53 spot, it is Ephemeral Enhancement. This will turn whatever weapons in your hand to be Pack-a-Punch for 60 seconds, and it has 2 activations. But since you're losing the Pack-a-Punch gun, it's not really that useful, so why even bother in the first place? Coming into our number 52 spot on the list is going to be Crawl Space. This gobblegum allows you to make all the zombies around you into crawlers. It has 5 activations, and it's not actually that useful unless you're doing Easter egg steps or even the Draka Void Bow Easter egg step where you have to have crawlers. Other than that, it is pretty useless. Coming to our 51st spot on the list is going to be Board Games. What this gobblegum allows you to do is it will replace all the barriers in one go. It does last 5 rounds though, which is pretty good I guess. Coming into our 50th spot on the list, it is going to be Bored to Death. This also lasts 5 minutes and it will kill all the zombies around you when you're repairing a barrier. So pretty useless. Coming into our 49th spot on the list, it is going to be Burnt Out. So when a zombie hits you, it will set that zombies and other zombies on fire in the area. This will only last for 2 hits though. Coming into our 58th spot on the list, it is going to be Firing on All Cylinders. This will allow you to shoot as you run, so it's kind of like Gun Ho from Advanced Warfare, and it lasts 3 rounds. Even though it has its moments, I just particularly wouldn't really use it, because I just wouldn't use it. There wouldn't be too many occasions where this would be very, very useful. Coming to the 57th spot on our list is going to be Armamental Accomplishment. What this gobblegum is going to allow you to do is switch weapons that recover from performing melee attacks faster, reload, and use items more quickly. So even though it's kind of useful, it's just one of the gobblegums I wouldn't put on because there's so many other better options to use. And with Black Ops 3, you're already quite fast with handling your weapons and stuff, so yeah. Coming into our number 46 spot on the list is going to be Lucky Crit. This will improve your chances of activating an alternative ammo type. So it might be quite useful for high round play and stuff, but for me, nah, not really. There's just so many other gobblegums that are better for like weapon stuff. Coming into our 45th spot on the list is going to be Now You See Me. This gobblegum has 2 activations and it will make all the zombies only see you for 10 seconds. So on co-op games it could be quite useful, sure, but on solo it's pretty much not useless, but it's not made for that, is it? Coming into our 44th spot on the list is going to be the Disorderly Combat. This gobblegum will give you a random gun every 10 seconds, but it lasts 5 whole minutes. So this is actually quite good for early games because 1, you're never going to run out of ammo, and 2, well yeah, you're never going to run out of ammo. I quite like using this gobblegum in the moon starting room, and if you have a pack-a-punch weapon first, all the guns you'll get will be pack-a-punch as well, which is very nice. But I just don't think this is really worth it long game at least, and even for Easter eggs, I don't know why you'd use it. Coming into number 43 on our list is going to be profit sharing. This gobblegum will last you actually 10 minutes, and all the points you'll make, your teammates will make as well, and vice versa. It's quite an interesting gobblegum, but something I never really used back in the day, and I probably won't use it anytime soon. Coming into our number 52 spot on the list is going to be Fear in Headlights. This gobblegum has 1 activation and it will last you 2 minutes, but all the zombies seen by players won't move. It's quite similar to the Easter egg in Black Ops 3's multiplayer map, Nuketown, where when you shoot all the heads of the mannequins, they'll try and chase you, but if you look at them, then they won't. It's quite funny, and at the same time, and it's an interesting gobblegum, just not very practical. I wouldn't really use it. It might be useful for some Easter egg steps, but I'm sure there's other gobblegums that would be more useful for the job coming up later on in the list. Coming to our next spot on the list, it's going to be Danger Closest. This is going to be a gobblegum that's essentially PhD, and all explosive damage doesn't hurt you at all. And this will last 3 full rounds. So it would be higher on the list if there's really good explosive weapons on Black Ops 3, but personally I don't think there really is. I maybe would take this into the Gorod Corvi boss fight. I think that'd be pretty good to have it in, but other than that I wouldn't really recommend using this gobblegum. In the next spot on our list, number 40, it is Slaughter Slide. This gobblegum is essentially the other part of PhD, where when you normally dolphin dive you have explosive damage, but in this case you slide. There's 2 activations per slide and there's 6 full times that you can actually use this. Overall it can be pretty good for like boss zombies and stuff, but I mean personally it's not really going to be that useful for you for the majority of the game. It's a cool thing to have, but when you're going for high rounds or even Easter eggs, I mean you're going to be sliding around the place constantly anyway to get away from zombies and stuff. So even though it's really cool in concept, I would much rather it's just something I had permanently rather than something in a gobblegum form. I would rather have something like a power vacuum here, to be honest. The next gobblegum on our list in the number 39 spot is going to be Head Drama. This makes it so all damage you do to the zombies will class as headshots. It lasts until the end of the current round, and overall it's not a bad gobblegum by any means. Going forward, all the gobblegums we have are actually pretty decent for what they do. For mini bosses and stuff, I'm sure this is very, very useful, but in general play again, I wouldn't put one of these on. Again, it's not bad, it's just there's so many other gobblegums on this list that I'd just rather use. Especially when I'm pretty good at aiming at the head anyway, so I don't really know why I need this to help. Coming into the 38th spot on our list, it's I'm Feeling Lucky. This has 2 activations and it will let you spawn in a random power up. Now this could be either really good or really bad depending on what you get, I guess. It's the reason why it's the lowest power up drop here, because it's just completely random. Every other power up drop is obviously above this, because you know what you're getting. I mean, if you get 2 nukes, then fair enough, I guess, but at the same time, I'd rather have max ammos on and know I'm getting a max ammo. Coming into our next spot on the list, it's going to be Idle Eyes. Now this gobblegum is actually pretty good. It'll make the zombies ignore all players, and this will last for 30 seconds, but you actually have 3 activations of this. Now the reason it's so low on the list is because we have In Plain Sight and Anywhere But Here, and a lot of other gobblegums that are a part of the basic classic set that you don't have to earn. So even though this gobblegum is actually a really good gobblegum for solo and co-op, I just think compared to these other ones, even though it's better, the fact that it's something you have to earn makes it not as good. And that's why it comes in at the number 37th spot. Coming into our 36th spot on the list, it's going to be Dead of Nuclear Winter. Now this is obviously just a nuke power up, right? But you get 2 activations. So that means 800 points first of all. And it essentially means that you can get out of any like really tricky situation. That's really the only reason I would use this, as obviously it kills all the zombies in the field. So, I mean, it's kind of useful in that sense, and it's not a bad gobblegum, but keep in mind it's just a nuke power up, but you get 2 of them. So, overall, it's fine, but it's not amazing. Coming into our next spot on the list is going to be Phoenix Up at number 35. What Phoenix Up does, it revives all your teammates and it lets them keep all their perks as well. This has one activation, and obviously it's only going to be available for like co-op play, and that's the only time you'd actually use it. But overall, it can be pretty useful. If all your teammates are down and you're the only one left and you have like nothing and you have a Phoenix Up, obviously you're going to use it and save the whole team and save the day. Congratulations, you are a pro zombies player. Coming into the number 34 spot, we have Pop Shocks. This gives your melee weapon, your knife, a little zappity zoop, and electrocutes all the zombies that are around you, and it has 5 activations. This doesn't only work on zombies, it works on panzers, margwas, you name it as well, so overall it can be really effective against the bigger guys. And there's just something fun about having an electric knife that I like. Coming into our number 33 spot, we have Always Done Swiftly. This will allow you to aim faster and then walk while aiming faster as well. More one of them quality of life gobblegums. I wouldn't obviously use it every game or so, but I mean, hey, it's alright. Coming into our number 32 spot, it's going to be Licensed Contractor. Now the reason why this bad boy's here is because it's actually quite good for points and it's not going to affect your round drastically. Obviously it's going to rebuild all the barriers, but since it has free activations, it means that you're going to make 600 points of it. So is it great? Not really, but I mean it's not bad. And use it on a map like Shangri-La and then Carpenters could all be max ammos. On the 31st spot on the list, we have Aftertaste. This allows you to keep all your perks after going down except Quick Revive. It has 1 activation and it lasts 3 rounds. Now when the game came out, this was actually a really useful gobblegum, but now we have a lot more other gobblegums that do practically the same thing, like Near Death Experience and so many others. So this isn't actually that useful. Coming into our 30th spot is going to be Stock Option, and this will take all the ammo from your stock ammo instead of your clip. It's good for LMGs, assault rifles, you really name it, it's pretty good. It lasts 3 minutes as well, so overall it's just a fun gobblegum to use. Coming up next is going to be Sword Fillet. This allows your knife to have 5 times the damage, or whatever melee weapon you have will do 5 times the damage. And it lasts 2.5 minutes. This is really good for early game for just getting them points, and yeah, overall it's a good gobblegum. Coming up to our 28th spot is Arsenal Accelerator. This will make it so that you have your specialist weapon charging faster. That's it. It's good for high rounds of maps of good specialist weapons, so I wouldn't recommend it on the Giant, but the other maps, yes I would. Coming to our 27th spot on the list, it's going to be Bullet Boost. This is going to be important for the maps where you're doing a first room challenge on, or you're doing a map where there's no Pack-a-Punch. This will give your Pack-a-Punch weapon that you can obtain with either wall power or crate power an ammo mod. So it's not going to be good for normal zombie play, but let's say you're playing Naktor and Toten and Varuk, Shino Numa, or any first room challenge that has a gobblegum machine in it, then this is going to be your guy. Coming into our 26th spot on the list, it's going to be Mind Blown. All the zombies that you see, heads will explode. Visually it's actually pretty cool, but it's not that practical in a way. There's free activations off it, and I wouldn't really recommend using it in important games, but if you just want gobblegums to fuck around with, this is a pretty good one. Coming into our 25th spot on the list, it is going to be Killjoy. This spawns in a insta-kill power-up. There's 2 activations off it, and insta-kills are insta-kills, so I mean, it's never going to be bad. And I feel like it's fairly put here. Coming into our 24th spot on the list, it is going to be Score. Now this is going to drop us double points, and it has 2 activations. It's going to be good in early games, or even late games where you're trying to struggle for points. Overall, it's not my favorite gobblegum, obviously, like all the other ones below this. But I mean, it has its place and it's somewhat useful, and it's probably one of the better ones in terms of the drops. Coming into our 23rd spot on the list, it is going to be Flavored Hex. Now this will give us 2 random effects from gobblegum. So it could be Poo Poo and give you 2, let's say, Burns Out, or it could give you a Perkaholic and then a Power Vacuum. It's just completely random, but I quite like it about the gobblegum because you could get something you don't have, or you could just get something fun in general. Coming into our next spot on the list at place 22 is going to be Wall Power. This will give you a Pack-a-Punch weapon from the wall. Pretty simple. Overall, it's a good gobblegum to have, and it makes it so you're going to have cheap Pack-a-Punch weapons early on. It's definitely good for them first room challenges, but other than that, it's not really that useful, I guess. But overall, it's decent. Then coming into our next spot, it's going to be 21, is going to be Crate Power. This is essentially wall power, but for the mystery box. And the only reason I put it above this is because you could potentially get a Pack-a-Punch Wonder Weapon. And yeah, they do the exact same thing but the crate power just gives you a bit more of options. Coming into the number 20 spot on our list, it's going to be Killing Time. This gobblegum has one activation, and if you don't know what this does, it freezes all of the zombies in place for 20 seconds, and if they're shot, they'll be annihilated when the time is up. It's a pretty funny gobblegum, and it can actually be very useful for Easter egg boss fights or any intense situations. I think it gets slept on quite a lot, and I mean, it's killing time, bro, with the gobblegum flow. Coming into our 19th spot on the list, it is going to be on the house. This will give you one free random perk. Overall, pretty good. I recommend using it once you have your 4 other perks because obviously, you know, Black Ops 3 has the 4 perk limit. So yeah, then coming into our number 18 spot is going to be Unclenchable. This will allow you to have another perk slot, so it lets you pick what perk you get. That's the only reason why it's above on the house, because it gives you a bit more option on what you're actually going to get. Coming into our number 17 spot, it's going to be Extra Credit. This will spawn a power up of 1,250 points, and it has 4 activations. So in general, you'll be getting 5 grand. So it's the equivalent of a Pack-a-Punch, but if you have double points as well, you'd be getting 10 grand, and you can buy whatever you want with it. That's why I've put it above every other like gobblegum where you can buy something with it, because you actually get a lot more choice. Coming into our number 16 spot, it's going to be Self-Medication. The only reason it's here is because when you're on high rounds and solo, it's kind of useless. But overall, I mean, it's pretty good. Near-death experience is obviously going to be a better choice no matter what, but it's all right. It has free activations. And yeah, I would use it on high round runs, just when you're down, you're down. Coming into our next spot on the list, on number 15, is going to be Cashback. This will give you a max ammo. Enough said, pretty decent. You have no ammo in your thunder gun, then this gobblegum is going to be the gobblegum for you. Coming into our number 14 spot is going to be Round Robin. This lets you skip around and you get a few points along the way. I mean, it's good for what it is, I guess. If you're on round 100 and you use it, you go to round 101. It's a lot of time saved, but I wouldn't really use it. Temporal Gift is on our next spot on the list, coming in at number 13. And this makes it so that power-ups last longer. And it also lasts 1 full round. This is good when you and your teammates work together. Let's say someone has Immolation Liquidation and uses all the fire sales, and then you have this activated. You're going to have a lot of time to get the weapons you need. Our next gobblegum on the list is going to be Undead Man Walking, coming in at number 12. This gobblegum makes it so all zombies slow down to shambling speed, and it lasts 4 minutes. Very good for escort steps, very good for Easter egg steps in general, and overall gobblegum I would always have on for Easter eggs. Coming into number 11 is going to be Fatal Contraption. This will drop a Death Machine drop, and it has 2 activations. I think the Death Machine for boss fights is insane, and overall one of the most useful drops for high rounds and Easter egg boss fights, as the Death Machine just melts anything in its path anyway. Coming into number 10, we're going to have Soda Fountain. This is going to be a per man's perkaholic. So the way it works is when you buy a perk, you'll get another perk free. And this will unlock all the perk slots as well for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, I mean, if you don't have a perkaholic, this is the gobblegum you go to. Coming into our number 9 spot is going to be In Plain Sight. And this is going to make it so that you can be ignored for zombies for 10 seconds. And it has 2 activations. So in total, you'll have 20 seconds. But what's good about this gobblegum is that it is free and unlimited for you to use in-game. It's a very good safety net, and I would always use it on a high round. Speaking of another gobblegum I would use on a high round, coming into our number 8 spot would be Anywhere But Here. This gobblegum will make it so you can just disappear like you're going for milk, and it will get you out of any really tricky situations. Anywhere But Here has 2 activations, and it's another gobblegum where you don't have to earn it, it's just in your inventory once you've unlocked it. So overall, pretty good. Coming into our number 7 spot is going to be Raindrops. This is going to drop one of every drop in the game. So this is going to be a nuke, a double points, a fire sales, an insta-kill, a perk, a death machine, and overall this is very good for high rounds because since you have everything and you can kind of time stuff as well, it's just good for clearing out hordes of zombies and not having to worry too much. Coming into our number 6 spot on the list is going to be Near Death Experience. Now, if you bring this into a boss fight, it's pretty hard to lose the boss fight because you'll never go down. You'll never bleed out, at least, because obviously rounds don't change at boss fights, and this gobblegum lasts 3 rounds. The way it works is you go down, you get back up. Simple as that. You don't lose anything, and yeah, you just keep going. Coming into our number 5 spot is going to be Immolation Liquidation, and this will let us spawn in free fire sale power-ups. This is going to make it really easy and really quick for you to get your wonder weapons, and I know that can be really tedious because a lot of the maps in Black Ops 3, especially the Zombie Chronicle versions, wonder weapons are in the boxes obviously. So it's good for that, and it's very good for Easter egg steps as well. Coming into our number 4 spot on the list is going to be shopping free. For 1 full minute, anything you buy is free. So what I like to do this one is I'll buy the entire map, then I'll hit the mystery box, and then get my next gobblegum, which comes in at the number 3 spot, Perkaholic. This gives you all the perks on the map. Very broken, very fun. Just makes it so you're set up from the go, and honestly, some people say it kind of killed Black Ops 3 a little, but in my opinion, you don't have to use it. But I do tend to use it on Easter egg runs and things like that, just to make things a bit smoother for myself. Coming into the number 2 spot on the list is going to be Power Vacuum. This is going to make it so drops spawn in more frequently over the next 4 rounds. So anything from insta-kills to death machines, it's all going to spawn in, and there's going to be like a drop after another. It's very, very effective, and high round speedrunners always use this when they're going for high rounds. And number 1, I don't know if anyone would have guessed it, but I have to say it is my favorite gobblegum of all time. It's the most useful gobblegum of all time, and it's Alchemical Anthesis. For 60 seconds, any points you make will turn into ammo, and this goes across for all weapons. It has 2 activations per gobblegum, and it makes high rounds and Easter egg runs super easy. Because it's unlimited ammo for 60 seconds, twice, and then it's pretty much 2 max ammos as well. Funnily enough, it's the last gobblegum you unlock in the classic section, and I understand why. It's extremely overpowered, and this is really the only gobblegum you need if you want high rounds to be a lot easier. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my gobblegum ranking video. If you did, maybe check out this first room challenge as well, you might like it. And with that said, thank you for watching, subscribe, and goodbye.